So just yesterday, as of recording this, I finally got a chance to see Superman, the new rebooted DC Extended Universe movie, the new rebooted Superman movie, and I am pretty excited to talk about it. I have quite a bit of thoughts and feelings and emotions towards this movie, and I just am really excited. I've been kind of moving away from doing just regular movie reviews. They're just too much for me to keep up with. But for bigger movies that I'm really excited to talk about, I'll still be doing some of them here and there, like with Superman, and I did Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning a few months ago. So I'm going to be also doing this review kind of out of the ordinary than the way I've done it before. I've always done movie reviews spoiler-free because I don't like giving away certain plot points for someone who stumbles upon this video and hasn't seen the movie. When I do spoilers, I do give a little bit of a warning, but for this movie, I just want to talk about the movie. I just want to talk about things in the movie that I liked, things that I appreciated, things that got me excited, and some of it might be spoilery. So I'm going to be talking about spoilers in this video. That's your heads up. I am going to give brief thoughts on the movie, spoiler-free, for anyone that wants to know my thoughts on the movie, but I'm going to give you one more warning when I start to get a little more into spoiler territory, but once that hits, you don't have to watch the rest of it if you do not want to be spoiled by the movie if you haven't seen it. So quick spoiler-free thoughts. What did I think of this movie? I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I think this is the Superman movie that fans have been waiting to see. It's definitely the Superman movie that I've been wanting to see. This is a Superman movie that 10-year-old me would have just absolutely devoured. In fact, I'll even go so far as to say that this movie is the closest that we have ever gotten to the original Superman movie from 1978. That movie will never be touched, but man, all that feeling, that emotion, that energy that I felt when I first saw Christopher Reeve's first Superman movie when I was a little kid, I felt that again when watching this movie. Of course, it has the added humor of James Gunn's humor mixed in with the movie, which I came to expect. I wouldn't have wanted this movie any other way. It's written and directed by James Gunn. I want James Gunn's flair on a Superman story, and that's exactly what we get here. David Cornsweet, I thought, was great as Superman. He feels like he's capturing the essence of Christopher Reeve's Superman, but he's very much doing his own thing, which is what I think they were going for, which is what I thought was the best direction to take this character, because I know Henry Cavill, the previous Superman, is very loved by fans, but I can understand them not wanting to do the same thing that his Superman did. His Superman was very dark, very brooding, kind of emotionless at times, with just a little bit of a slimmer of hope. And that's not what this movie is doing. This movie is bringing the hope back into Superman. He's very hopeful. He's very upbeat. He's very, very much like the people's Superman, so to speak. And the reason, and what I mean by that is, he's a Superman that cares for the people. Not to say that Henry Cavill's wasn't. He did at times, but his was very minimal when it came to that. There were more, Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman were more focused on the big epic spectacle rather than a superhero story, so to speak. Superman is a character that very much cares for the people. He tries to save the people. And that is an aspect that Christopher Reeve's, Superman, nailed. Even in the terrible movies like Superman 3 and 4, he still nailed that aspect of Superman. Brandon Routh's Superman, he's a continuing off of Christopher Reeve's. He did have that aspect too, but Henry Cavill's definitely narrowed that down a bit. And now with this new one, we're fully back to that optimistic, people-saving Superman that, like I said, 10-year-old me, the 10-year-old inside me just devoured. Performance-wise, everyone else was fantastic. I loved Lois Lane. Rachel Brosnahan killed it in this movie. Jimmy Olsen was really funny. The standout, besides David Cornsweet for me, was Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. This, I think, is the best Lex Luthor we have ever gotten on screen. I know people love the Smallville Lex Luthor. I forgot what the actor's name is. And I know people really liked the animated series, and people really liked Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor. But I think Nicholas Hoult is probably the best on-screen Lex Luthor we have ever seen. The action I thought was spectacular. The visual effects were top-notch. The story was emotional. There were times where I got a little teary-eyed because of the emotion that they gave us in this movie. And I'm just so happy as a Superman fan. I'm just so happy that this movie just nailed so many beats, and it accomplished what a true Superman movie should be, in my opinion. It didn't just rehash things from previous movies. It didn't do the same thing that the previous Superman movies did. It's very much its own thing while still being very familiar as a Superman movie. And for that, it's very commendable for me. It's probably the best Superman movie we've gotten since the Christopher Reeve Superman movie, the original one. I love the hell out of it. I think if you guys haven't seen it yet, you're gonna love the hell out of it too. It's a fun movie from start to finish with lots of humor, lots of emotion, a lot going on in it too, and I think that's gonna lead into my spoiler talk. So if you haven't seen the movie, this is your spoiler warning. I'm gonna be talking about some spoiler stuff, so keep that in mind. Let's get into it. Like I said, there is a lot that goes on in this movie. There's multiple superhero characters, meta-humans as they call them in the movie, that's introduced. There's Green Lantern, there's Hawkgirl, there's Mr. Fantastic in the movie. Those three were great. I really loved all three of those characters, and I even love the actors that played them. They had a quirky charm to them. They fit well with Superman and with this world that James Gunn is building. It was nice to see characters that, to me, I wasn't that familiar with, and see them done in a way that made me like them. They were very likable. They were very fun, especially Green Lantern. He had this like attitude where it's like he's the leader of this justice gang that they're sorting out, and they don't like the name that they picked for him, but he's like dead set on it. He's kind of like has this cocky attitude towards him, and I thought it was pretty fun. Let's talk about a big thing that people have been talking about with this movie, however, and that is the origin story of Superman in this movie. Now, I had a feeling we would see a little bit of origin stuff, but I was glad to hear that this movie wasn't going to be another complete origin story. So what they ended up doing, that James Gunn ended up playing around with the mythology and the origin of Superman a little bit by saying that his parents, his biological Kryptonian parents, sent him to Earth and to basically rule over humans, and in shorter terms, get rid of any humans that don't respect him, that don't obey him in a sort of way. That's the vibe I got from it, and people have been talking about this. People are a little upset with this development of Superman's origins. And how they played it out in the movie was, you see a message of Superman's parents, which, by the way, Jor-El, his father, is played by Bradley Cooper. Fucking loved that. I loved seeing him in the movie. I'm actually quite a bit of a Bradley Cooper fan, so it was cool seeing him in this movie. And the message, they're speaking a different language. Don't know if that's part of the comics, but they are speaking a different language, and it's translated as, the typical hopeful message that we've heard from Superman in like Superman movies and comics before. But then the message just kind of jitters a little bit. And the Superman robots in the Fortress of Solitude explain that the rest of the message was damaged when Superman landed on Earth. Later on in the movie, Lex Luthor, when he gets into the Fortress of Solitude, he does some stuff, a character that's with him does some stuff, and they recover and fix the rest of the message, and it basically explains why they sent him to Earth, which was to kind of rule over the human race in a way. And Superman didn't know about that. Superman didn't know about that message. He's been spending all his time like fighting for the good of mankind, to be like an actual hero, to care for the people. So in a way, it's kind of like his parents are kind of like telling him to do what is against what he is feeling. So this causes a lot of conflict between the people and Superman. It's all the conflicted stuff that we see in the trailer. And while I can understand being a little upset with that, it's kind of rewriting the history of Superman in a little bit, I was fine with it. I was okay with it. I actually was intrigued with it. I'm all for changing things that have already been established if you justify it, and giving Superman this big arc of, you know, everything that he's been doing this whole time he's been Superman is now just like, it's kind of gone in a sense. He doesn't know what to think. You know, his parents sent him here for a reason, but that reason is different than what he thought. I thought that was a great conflicted battle within him. And in the end, he has this great speech when he's going up against Lex Luthor saying that he's just as human as anyone else here, and that is his greatest strength. It's not a flaw, it's a strength. And it was a good message. And, you know, little kids are going to be seeing this movie. It's a great message for kids too. And like I said, I appreciated that this movie wasn't just a full-on origin story like Man of Steel was, or like what the original Christopher Reeve movies were. We know the origin of Superman at this point, and while it was important to introduce that kind of like reimagining of it a little bit, I'm glad that wasn't the main focus of this movie. I like that Lois Lane knows that Clark Kent is Superman, and they have been dating for, I think they say in the movie, for 3 months now. So their relationship, there's still like, they're figuring it out. They have that scene in the trailer where Lois Lane is interviewing Superman. That leads to a fight that they have. And Lois Lane's even questioning, you know, this is why I don't do relationships. And Clark Kent just leaves after he hears that. So their relationship isn't the fairy tale relationship that you would come to expect for Superman and Lois. She's dealing with the fact that she's dating a alien in a sense. And this is something that Man of Steel, or not Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman touched on too, but I think it was handled better in this movie, because while it's just a mention in passing in Batman versus Superman, is really dedicated to just like one scene, it's the whole arc of Superman and Lois's relationship in this movie. And by the end of the movie, they've come to accept that, and Clark says to Lois at some point in the movie that he loves her, and then that arc kind of wraps up at the very end of the movie after the big battle where Lois says it back to him. And it was kind of a sweet moment. I thought it was handled pretty well. And I want to talk about Crypto really quick. I loved Crypto in this movie. He is so adorable and very much what a dog is like. I know people were concerned that it's a CGI dog, so they're going to exaggerate him a little bit. No, this is exactly what it's like to be a dog owner. I've got a dog myself, and seeing Crypto in this movie is exactly how my dog acts at times. And I loved how James Gunn explained that he based Crypto off of his dog, and he kind of views Crypto as the worst dog ever, but you still love him, and that's very much Crypto in this movie. He's got some really funny parts in the movie, like one of the bad guy characters in the movie has these like little ball drones, and for Superman to get rid of that, he says to Crypto, go get the toys, and Crypto just eats those toys up. He's playing with them like they're chew toys, like they're Lex Luthor chew toys that he just destroys, and Superman gets the upper advantage because of that. That was a really funny moment. And can I just say, I loved that the Superman theme is present in this movie. Don't get me wrong, the Man of Steel theme is really cool, and it would have been cool if they would have made an original theme, but that Superman theme that John Williams wrote, you cannot beat that. That is a part of Superman now. I hated that the Justice League movie from 2017 shoehorned that the way they did. It did not fit at all. It's been established in the very beginning of this movie, and I loved what they did with it. I loved how it's portrayed in the movie. I loved how it just blurts out during big epic scenes. Like, there's a country that's being invaded and going to shit. It's one of the reasons why Superman's under fire in this movie. And that scene that we see in the trailer of the kids picking up the flag, and the flag has the Superman symbol on it. As soon as you see that symbol, the theme song just swells up, and I was just like, fuck yeah, go get him, Superman. It goes to show you how music can make an impact on certain scenes in movies. And when it comes to Superman, you've got a kick-ass theme, and I'm so glad that James Gunn used it. I also thought it was pretty weird that they did something unique with Jimmy Olsen. He kind of had like a side relationship with Eve Tessmacher, who is Lex Luthor's girlfriend. and she was kind of sending him like sexy pics with like stuff in the background to kind of give him clues on what Lex Luthor was doing. Weird thing to put in the movie to kind of give Jimmy Olsen, but also at the same time, I kind of liked it. I thought it was kind of quirky and kind of fun. Eve Tessmacher in this movie is such an annoying character, though. She's meant to be that way, though. I'm not saying that's a fault for the movie. I'm saying, like, if I was a person in this movie, I would be annoyed as hell of Miss Tessmacher. Actress did a great job. They did a good job, like, incorporating her into the story. But it was kind of fun seeing sweet, innocent Jimmy Olsen be kind of roped in with this weird-ass character, have this weird side relationship with her. I mean, even Lois at one point in the movie, when she finds that out, just looks at Jimmy and goes, "How do you do it, Jimmy?" Because it does make sense. Why would this weird kind of like, okay, he's not weird, but why would this like shy, quiet, kind of sweet photographer character be in this side relationship with this really hot model looking bimbo, in a sense? I thought it was pretty funny. It added some good humor to it, and just overall I thought it was well done. And that's the most I can say about this whole movie. It was so well done, and it honors the legacy of Superman while adding to it. And I'm just so glad that this movie just nailed everything. It had great heart, emotion, humor, action, and a great performance from David Cornsweet as Superman, as well as everyone else in the movie. James Gunn, I think, nailed it. And also, really quick, since we're still in spoiler talk here, I really liked that Supergirl showed up at the end of the movie, and it turns out she is the owner of Krypto. I know a lot of people are talking about her performance and what Supergirl is like in this movie and kind of what she's going to be like in her Supergirl movie. I'm curious to see what they do with it. I'm all for whatever weird stuff James Gunn wants to do, as long as it's done well. And I could tell I'm gonna like Supergirl in her movie. I thought she was pretty fun for her brief, like, 30-second cameo she had at the end of this movie. But yeah, needless to say, I love this movie. I loved it so much. Best Superman movie since the original with Christopher Reeve, and that's not a fanboy reaction. I honest to God loved it. There's a lot of shit going on in the movie. Sometimes the pacing can drag a little bit because of how much that's going on in the movie, but still worth seeing. Go see it on the biggest screen possible. If you're still not sold on the movie, I don't know what else can sell you on it. I mean, this is the Superman movie that I think fans have been wanting to see. So that's my review. If you haven't seen the movie and you made it this far into the video, sorry I spoiled it, but, you know, I did give a warning. But if you have seen the movie and you've made it all the way to the end of the video, then let me know in the comment section what you thought of it. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. I am planning a Superman movie ranking video, so look forward to that pretty soon. Again, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like and share it. Subscribe right here if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, take care.